welcome to the show, Sean. Great to see you. First face-to-face interview that I've ever done, so thank you for taking the time out to come on. How are you doing?
Oh, thanks for having me. Doing great. The season's well underway, so this is the bulk of it, and we love. This is the part we love.
It is going to, so I suppose it's a bit of a busy period, but then next month is a bit quiet, isn't it?
Yeah, you get the 3-game week this week, and then you go into the international break, in a couple of weeks, you get 2 weeks, players, we have obviously got some players going away for that, but a little bit of a rest period, certainly for some of the staff, but the boys will keep going, the boys will keep training, and we'll keep preparing.
Absolutely. So for those who are out there who don't know Sean, just tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, so grew up in England, football's been my life for a long time, from Portsmouth in England, which is the south coast. Grew up there for 17 years. Made the move to the US at 17.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so it was a young time to transition, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
My parents weren't overly keen on it. Certainly, the mother would like to keep me there for a little bit longer, but no, it was an opportunity I couldn't really turn down to come over, get an education. Kind of fell out of love with football a little bit.
Oh right, okay.
Just the process of youth football. Just the ups and downs. You're not good enough. You'll never make it. That type of stuff. Yeah. So kind of fell out of love with it, but knew that I still wanted to keep playing, but education was a big thing, and an opportunity to come out to the US and do that, play college. I did that. So took that opportunity and sort of loved it ever since. I was in Georgia for 14 years.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, so played in Georgia, and then when Atlanta came about, made the transition into Atlanta, into the MLS club. So my biggest background is coaching. I always loved coaching. I transitioned out of the playing into coaching and loved that more than playing, to be honest with you. Building the relationships with the young players, development of the players, it was what I loved and enjoyed to do. So I did that for a long time.
That's very cool. So what made you then go into scouting?
So the transition into scouting, it kind of came about. It was a little bit of a whirlwind, to be honest with you, because I was really enjoying coaching. I was really enjoying the development of players, and I got all my coaching badges, and I kind of reached that point of, okay, now I'm ready to go and try my luck in sort of the pro game, take the next step. Yeah. But then this job came about with Atlanta United, and it was a scouting role that was, sort of kind of an entry-level role. And actually the first person I met was Lucy Rushton.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so we kind of hit it off straight from the get-go. Went through the process there, and it wasn't something I was particularly looking to get into. It was always something of interest, but it wasn't something I was like, I want to be a scout. Yeah. I started that process with Atlanta, with Lucy. Learned an incredible amount in such a short period, and never looked back since. Really, it's been a really great experience, and it's something I can't see myself not doing anymore.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
That's very cool. So when did you start doing the scouting career then? How long ago was it?
So I was always doing a little bit of scouting at the youth level when I was coaching, because we're always looking to bring in players into your team, improve your team. Yeah. So it was always at from a 10-year-old to an 18-year-old. Yeah. I kind of had a bit of background in that already, and Atlanta United at the time, they were looking to bring in young players and develop them. So it was kind of a nice transition. The scouting piece of it was always there, and I always had a little bit of experience from it. And again, the relationships with the coaching was just,
Yeah, that's cool. So take me through a day in the life of the director of scouting of DC United.
It's a busy one.
Yeah.
It's a busy one. Yeah. We're a small staff. We're a very homey club. Yeah. Between myself, Lucy Rushton, Stuart Mears, and Dave Casper, we kind of attack it all together. Honestly, it's a lot of watching players. It's a lot of watching games. It's a lot of making contact with our contacts, our people that help us in a way that kind of feed us information about players and so on and so forth. And so it's a lot of information collecting. It's a lot of spending some time on the internet. who's unhappy.
Going through the rumour mills and things like that.
Yeah, but you know what? It's also, in the day, you're also communicating with our own players.
Yeah.
How are they feeling? Seeing the relationships between different players within our own squad. When I first got here, I was doing a lot of travelling with the team.
Yep.
And I wanted to do that because I wanted to see the relationships between the players.
Yeah.
I wanted to see how we as DC United travelled. What it required to be a DC United player on the road. I was seeing it at home, but what did it mean on the road?
Yeah.
What were our processes? And you see a lot when you go away to these different countries. Some cultures and countries don't quite fit in.
Yeah.
It's just the reality of it. And, some personalities don't fit in our locker room. And so I wanted to find that out.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a big piece of it. So, did a lot of that when I first came in, travelled, and so a lot of my time when I first got here was figuring that out.
Yeah.
A lot of watching, it's a lot of communication with scouts and other scouts, and just
Yeah. So when you go through sort of identifying players to potentially bring into the club, what's that process like? Because obviously there's thousands of players out there. So how do you narrow it down to that 2 or 3 where we're going to put a bid in for that player?
There are thousands of players. This is the difficult part, and I think what's helping us now is the data collection and the way that football is going, or soccer is going.
You're fine. You can say football with me. It's okay. We're both English.
The way that football is going is heavily driven with data. We have a data scientist here who's been absolutely fabulous. Recent hire, not too long. And he's been a tremendous help for me. From an identification standpoint, a lot of the identification for myself was going and watching tournaments, the U20 Libertadores and the U17 European Champion, these types of tournaments where you find a lot of games, a lot of players. That being said, the data is again heavily driven. We're picking out profiles that we like, that we feel could fit in our team, and then we use that in terms of data to pick up some others to then go and watch. So it saves myself a lot of time, it saves Stu a lot of time, it saves Lucy a lot of time. We all have other things we need to do. So the data is heavy for us at the moment. But at the same time, when you're talking about narrowing down, we look at our team. We look at our team and we say, where are we strong? Where do we want to use our money next year? Where are our contracts? We want to try and be smart in that regard. So MLS is very heavy in spending the money in the front 3 or front 4. So we've taken a little bit of a different approach this year, and I think Lucy Rushton's touched on it in the sense of we spent some money at left wing back and at right wing back. We've got some investment there. So we believe in that style, that philosophy. So we're gonna push forward with that. And so when we were looking at that and when we were going through the things with Kevin, it was who was our next guy. It was, we tried to prepare in that manner.
So whose decision was it then to bring in Taxi that little bit earlier?
Well, I think it's just it was a no-brainer for us.
Well, it's been an absolute brilliant start for him. But who's the person who ultimately makes that decision to do that?
So I think ultimately everybody always wanted him from January. And we were pushing to have him from January. Obviously the negotiations between the clubs is always the difficult part, right? They wanted to keep him, they were still in Europe, it was a very difficult one. Ultimately the decision is between the 4 of us, like I said, do we want him now? We want him now. I think obviously then we take it to the owners and say, we'd love to have this player now. And so I guess ultimately the decision is the owners. Can we make this happen? And if they're willing to do that, and thankfully they did. And he's lit on fire since he's got here. Hopefully we can continue that and bring some pieces in to help him.
I don't think he's missed a team of the week in the game that he started yet. He's just been absolutely phenomenal. I know the fans out there absolutely love him, and he's been one of the best signings that we've had. I want to touch on things like the Super Draft because that's something that we just don't get over in Europe or pretty much anywhere else in the world. So do you get heavily involved in looking at the players from that side, or what's the process on that one?
So to be honest, I kind of come in at the later stages. And given that we have Loudon in the USL, often the path is from college, we want to put them in there, and that goes across MLS. So what ends up happening here is we've got Ryan Martin, head coach of Loudon. He's heavily involved from the very start. Stuart Mayer's heavily involved from the very start. We obviously have our contacts around the whole of college, with coaches. So we lean on them a lot heavily. But the process never stops with that. We're lucky to have Georgetown, Virginia, Maryland. We've got some of the best teams in college right around us. So we're very lucky in that. But we lean heavily on the USL guys. We've got some assistant coaches that chip in as well. We get to a point where we're a few months out and we want to really nail down, positionally what might Loudon need, and then also who are just the best talents. So I think this past year it was a great process in the sense of we nailed it down to, look, here's the best players, let's all watch them. So every single one of us watch these players.
Wow.
And we all come together and we say, right, who's your top? And then we sit for 2 hours and have a discussion on players in terms of what do they bring, what do they have, what do they not have? Are they a DC player in the future? Are they not? And a lot of it comes down to that sort of strategy as well. I think from a draft standpoint this year, I think we did very, very well. I think we couldn't have hoped for a better result in that. We were lucky in one sense, but we also knew who we wanted, and we got who we wanted. And we also got some cash. So
that's never a bad thing. Because in my head I was always thinking about Sofiane Jafal, who's just, again, he's, for me, other than Taxi, he's been the signing of the season. Because when he's come on, he's just got a great engine. His range of passing, I've just been so impressed with. He can just literally find anyone on the pitch. It's just brilliant.
This is a difficult thing of the draft, and this is what's been happening in the trend within the MLS and the draft recently is the internationals get left. Because it's so valuable now. And obviously with the youth initiative coming in, international spots are used there. We think a little bit differently here, and we thought a little bit differently in the sense of, well, if we can hold a spot, we believe in Jafar. We believe that he's got some, Sophie, we call him.
Fair.
We believe that he's got a real talent. One of the things surrounding him was always, as the talk of the town was, does he have enough athleticism to be the MLS player? I think for us, we watched him and we did our research and we felt, he does. Let's get him in pre-season with the first team. We loved his range of passing. We loved how he saw the game, his speed of thought, and honestly, he's just adapted incredibly well. And I think you get that from a player who's come from a European club. Gone through the system here in college, and his level's never dropped. And his attitude has been second to none, and he deserves every bit of credit he's getting at the moment. He's man of the match the other night. He's just an incredible passer of the ball, and he complements what we already have. Which is nothing but a plus and a credit to him.
Absolutely. So moving away from sort of talent identification, moving on to match analysis and obviously our upcoming opponents, who's kind of the go-to guy for doing things like that? Who provides those match reports to Chad Ashton and gets all that data gathered?
It's the complete coaching staff. So Freddie Briant's obviously come on recently. Sam Marich is obviously our data guy. Sorry, not our data guy, but does the video analysis. And Luis Guevara as well. So between the two of those, Chad is obviously heavily involved. He did that before under previous management and has been doing it for a very long time. So we're in good hands in that aspect, in breaking down oppositions. I'm in the locker room before the game and I see the game plan, which helps me obviously in what I want to do, but they go into great detail, and we really do a great job, and our coaching staff really do a great job of breaking down opponents. Throughout the week, they're in that video room that we have at the training ground non-stop. Individual players, Lewis and Sam are both individually talking with the players. Obviously, Nico Frutos has been a big part of that as well. Every single one of those coaching staff is talking with a player in regards to the next game or even perhaps the previous game.
Okay.
And it's a constant process. It never stops, and it's great to see every day at the training ground. It's great to see one of them talking to a player, progressing us as a team, and trying to get us in the right direction. Nice.
So, what else does just a scout, whether that's at DC United or in general, what do they get involved with?
In terms of?
So you've got your player identification, which you've been talking about. We've got the match analysis, which I know some scouts do, but is there anything else that a scout would tend to do?
Yeah, I mean, just general networking.
Yeah.
General networking. Obviously dealing perhaps sometimes with contracts, financial contracts, doing some, again, to me, what a scout is it's an information gatherer.
Okay.
It's an information gatherer, and it's somebody who can limit the risk for the club in terms of their investment.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I see it. In other roles, a director of scouting perhaps doesn't go out and watch as much and has a team of scouts underneath that they manage.
Yeah.
I enjoy that part of it.
Yeah.
I enjoy that part of it a lot. I would never want to take that away from what I do.
Yeah.
So, again, it's all encompassing, and again in the DC, it's all encompassing anyway. We all pull our weight, and we dip into different things and help each other out where we can. So it's really limitless, to be honest with you.
Nice.
As a scout.
Yeah. So you're always kept busy then?
Yeah, always kept busy, but I enjoy being busy. Busy is good.
Yeah.
Busy is good, and you never can never leave any stone unturned, I guess is the best way to put it with scouting.
Yeah.
Because you have moments where you say, that player's for us. How did we not find him, or what was our process like?
Yeah.
To where we didn't. So we're always analysing ourselves, analysing the process to figure it out.
Nice. So I think I wouldn't be forgiven if I didn't ask this next question, which is not on the list that I showed you earlier. But obviously we're looking at filling that third DP.
Yep.
You've been around Europe, obviously that's kind of the goal in terms of the players. Is there anything that you can kind of give us, any nuggets of information about who or where they're going to be coming from, or how far away are we from getting that third DP?
Yeah, look, the window opens up July 7th.
Yeah.
So we have a little bit of time. I think the important thing for us was that we wanted to get Taxi in through the door.
Yeah.
We wanted to see how Taxi interacted with our current players. So that was our most important thing. That was what we wanted to see first.
Yeah.
In terms of moving forward, we do have that third DP spot. Now, we've worked diligently. Every day, conversations between the four of us, as I've said.
Yeah.
Positionally, we really feel like we need a creator.
Okay.
So,
yep.
That's not to say that we don't have creators in the team already.
Yeah.
But we feel that to take ourselves to the next level, to impact games, we need a creator. So we've been heavily looking into players, and we want a game changer. This club has had Wayne Rooney.
Yeah.
This club has had Lucho Acosta. We're talking about top players.
Yeah.
So we're looking in that range. We've been to South America. We've been to Europe. We've done our homework in both. So what we'd really like in our squad is some real experience. We'd like some real experience. Someone who's been there and done it, and a player that people can look at and go, he's a game changer.
Yeah.
He's scary. He's
nice.
He's top 5 in the MLS. So, to give you a tidbit there, these are the ranges we're looking at.
Fair.
But at the same time, they've got to be right, because our philosophy is sometimes with these players, you may get some things in terms of defensively that don't work, right?
Yeah.
And so we have to figure out a player who's going to work for us, because that is our philosophy here.
Yeah, it's high energy, high press.
Exactly.
You need a lot of energy to get through that game. Yeah.
And you need 11 players all rowing in the same direction.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of Taxi.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of the things that we touched on is with Taxi, he has quality, he's been around Europe, and he will work his socks off for the team.
Yeah.
And I think you've seen that, and I think we're going to continue to see that. And again, I'll come back to it with the character in the dressing room. It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge for us, and so we've done a lot of work in terms of who's the best character for this dressing room.
Yeah.
We want a guy who has a personality and a presence. And again, to come back to Taxi, he's come in and been absolutely fantastic. He's in that dressing room. He's a jokester. His English is getting better every day.
I was about to say, it has the language been a barrier for him yet?
Everybody has a nickname to Taxi, and it's very simple, but it's great banter.
Yeah.
The guys love him. The guys love him. You know, he loves the guys. It's been a really, you know, when you talk about getting it right, you know, we're hoping this continues. But he, in terms of personality, and in terms of the work rate, you know, it's all you can really ask of a player.
Yeah.
And he's come and brought a new light to this team, which has been great.
Yeah, fantastic. Just kind of one sort of final question really is, for those who out there who might have not even thought about scouting or actually have thought about scouting, what would be your one bit of advice for them to get into that sort of career?
Yeah, it's a difficult one to get into, and I find myself very lucky that I had the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you've got, I've spoken with many people about this, you know, you can sit and you can analyse games and players, and ultimately every team and every club analyses players differently.
Yeah.
You know, reads reports differently. We're a club that I don't need 5 pages of reports on a player. You know, I need short, sweet, let's move on.
Straight to the point.
Straight to the point.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, I've without mentioning some clubs, you know, I've spoke to some scouts that work for some big clubs, and you know, they need to write 5-page reports, and you're talking a lot of information. They have the ability to do that.
Yeah.
So to get to the point, it's a very difficult thing to get into, but where I would start is breaking down players from a very granular level.
Yeah.
And again, you can do it from pick a team. You know, pick the team you support. For instance, pick DC United. Break down each player. What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? Who complements who? And break it down from an individual player standpoint, but also from a team standpoint, in that, well, those two don't quite connect because of these two reasons.
Yeah.
And start logging things like that. Start reaching out. Start networking with people. It's difficult, I know. You know, I have many people reach out to me about, you know, can I connect on you know, how I can get involved, and it's very difficult time-wise to offer that all the time. But try.
Yeah.
Try it. Open yourself out. Reach out. Really network with people. Ask for some feedback. You can never learn too much information. And one of the guys I look heavily up to is the guy at Sevilla, Monchi. So you know, there's videos out there on YouTube that you can watch where they show you their process, and you can never do too much research, right?
Yeah.
So you know, I'm forever learning, and for me, it's about learning and then just networking, because that's where the opportunities come.
Yeah.
You put yourself out there. A lot of guys have gone the Twitter route, right?
Yeah. They
They put their information out there on Twitter, and some is great to read. Some you're looking at it going, oh, okay, like, you know. But scouting can be very simple.
Yeah.
Scouting can be very simple, but that's where I'd start. Do your research, do your information, and really network with some people that are already in the game and can give you some feedback.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for that. I appreciate it.